Hey, what's happening, guys? This is Kyle Duck here, and you're at YokeBreak.com. Coming to you live from an unseasonably hot and muggy Amsterdam day. I'm right here, as you can see, on the bank of the Amstel River. The reason I'm standing here today behind these big, fancy office, corporate building suites thingies, and the reason is that I want to talk about something that almost every SEO and internet marketer is terrible at, and that these guys are really, really good at. And what that is project planning, revenue planning, revenue projection, profit projection, cost projections, and everything else, kind of realistic long-term business strategy. Now, I know in the SEO and online marketing worlds, we like to pretend that these guys are just old ancient dinosaurs and they don't know what they're doing anymore, but let's be real here. You don't get to build magnificent buildings like that without knowing a thing or two about money. Now, when most marketers and SEOs have an idea, they practice what I call monkey shit toss SEO. And what that means is they're just jumping from idea to idea, throwing crap against the wall, throwing crap out there and seeing what works and what doesn't without any actual planning or strategy or long-term goals or gains in mind. Now, the good news is there's a better way to do it, and you're going to be learning how to do that in today's training. I'm also going to be giving you access to a free tool of mine that I use that's going to show you how to how to project your profits for your SEO projects, for your niche sites, for your rent-a-serp sites, for whatever, so that you can have a realistic actual idea of how much money you'll make and how much money you'll spend beforehand. Motorbike guy, before you invest your time and money and energy in making something, so that way you can just focus on the projects that have the best chance of being profitable. So just a word of warning, I consider this advanced training. This is for people who really and legitimately want to make a living online. So if you're one of these guys or gals that thinks that you can I can just give you a magic button to press and it's going to make you start sneezing out money, then please go away to another blog. There's a million other SEO and IM blogs that'll be happy to have you, I promise. And or go back to Googling for pet unicorns or whatever it is you do. So with all that said, buckle your seatbelt, and I want to go walk back across the river over to my apartment, and we'll get to work. All right, cheers, guys. All right, everyone, I'm back in the safety and comfort of my home office, and let's get down to business right here. This is Big Business SEO Part 1. Now, here's what all you're going to learn in this training, and I've kind of teased this before, but yeah, I'll go ahead and tell you everything now. First thing you'll learn is how to project revenues from your sites before you make them, like we already talked about. Then you're going to learn how to calculate your expenses and your return on investment and your profits for each site. You're also going to learn the very best approach to creating income streams, multiple income streams from your SEO sites and your SEO properties. Then you're going to learn how to adjust your projections for real life to account for volatility and successes and failures that will happen, I promise. And you're also going to learn how to look good while doing it. Results not guaranteed. And bonus, if you'll stick around for a little bit, I'm going to give you the chance to get a free tool that I've made so that you can do all this stuff from the comfort of your home. And I'm also going to be showing you step by step how to use that tool yourself. So let's hop into it. First of all, it's time to eat your vegetables. Did your mom ever make you eat your vegetables as a kid? Maybe you didn't want to, maybe you wanted to have dessert first, but no, you had to eat your vegetables before you got your dessert. Well, guess what? Your mom was right. Those jokers, we might not like them, but they're good for you. And in my extensive training at the dinner table as a youngster, I found that the best way to eat the food I didn't want to eat was to just cram it all in my mouth at once up front, so then I can enjoy the rest of my meal in peace. So now I'm about to cram a bunch of vegetables down your throat so we can enjoy the rest of the video. Okay, not really. Alright, entrepreneurial success comes down to 3 factors, guys. It's really simple in a way. The first factor is systems and processes. By that we mean having a plan in place and sticking to it. Having your parts of your business and your day-to-day life and scheduling automated and not needing you to think about them all the time. Things just need to run on their own like machines. Your business needs to be the same way. You want your business to be a money machine. The second principle is taking informed risk or smart bets. Now, what that means is that you know what you're doing, why you're doing it, you know what risk you're taking, meaning the time and money that you invest, and you also know what the potential payoff of that risk is today. So if you can risk, $250 this month for maybe something that's going to earn you $5,000 over the next year, and you know what the chances of success and failure are, and you're comfortable with that, that's a great bet. And the third principle is, creating a competitive advantage, which means being willing or able to do things that your competitors can't do, won't do, or aren't going to do. Period. You've got to be better than your competition at something, even if just a little bit better. So like I said, you need a strategy and you need a plan for the short term, medium term, and the long term. So some example SEO strategies, and this is nothing new, but let's just get them all out there in one place, is an affiliate site, just where you promote somebody else's product and then collect the commission if it makes a sale, and that's with or without collecting email addresses on the site. Rent to cert pages, that's where you rank a website up front for a client and then try to get the client to pay you to rent the website from you. I think this is a very nice business model. The third is AdWords sites, where you just try to get a lot of traffic and get people clicking on your AdWords banners, which is also has variance with or without collecting emails that affects the value of that property. And then you have an SEO business site. So whatever you're doing all these things on your own, the affiliate sites or rent a cert pages. Well, maybe you want to throw up for whatever community you live in, a Amsterdam or BFE Egypt land SEO website, and be ranking for those terms. And just in case somebody Googles it, you can pick up some clients that way. And the last way is to use your imagination. There's a million ways to make money in the world, fellas. Now, some examples of high value SEO niches that are wise to focus on, because we do want to we want to make money in this, don't we? And this is valid for all of these affiliate sites, rent a cert pages, all these different strategies. These are all valid for them. The first one is real estate. You might think that there's a lot of competition there, but there's so many derivative keywords and sub niches to this industry that are still untapped in SEO. I mean, think about terms like student housing, condominiums, office space, high-end, low-end real estate, rentals, purchase. All of these markets are there for every single city in the world. All right, there's potential there. The second one is legal. Now, I know this one's kind of been beaten to death, particularly in the big market. So it's not something that I personally mess with, but there are still a lot of untapped cities that don't have a lot of competition for their legal community SEO. Particularly like your second, or really your third and fourth tier cities, like in the U.S., for example, maybe a city with 100,000 to 250,000 people. There might still be opportunities there, and the lawyers haven't been marketed to death by other SEOs. Third niche or industry you want to focus on is medical. And I'd say the most profitable and the ones where it makes most sense for them to hire or want an SEO, where they have a profit incentive to do so, are for things like elective surgery. Think about back surgery, spine surgery, dental surgery, cosmetic surgery, etc., etc. There's no reason for an emergency room physician to hire an SEO. They don't care. They're going to get paid either way. But for somebody who does need to bring in leads and does need to attract customers, then yes, that does make sense. So think about that beforehand. Do they need me or not? Before you start, throwing up rent a cert pages and all that, and creating client funnels and everything else. Next is industrial products and machinery. I can tell you firsthand that there are niches out there that have products that sell for anywhere from $20,000 to hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars point of sale, and they're less competitive than guys trying to rank for keywords for learning Spanish to sell $50 ebooks. Now, one, that's crazy. Two, Don't you think there's some money to be made and some opportunity out there with these niches? Yes, I believe there is. And lastly is the high-end luxury goods market. And I mean the very, 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 very high-end. I'm not talking about UGG boots or Louis Vuitton or whatever that crap is. Think yachts, private planes, jets, etc., etc. So let's get down to your strategy. What I like to do and what I recommend doing is to choose a niche or choose an industry and then create 5 to 10 sites within that same industry using these different strategies that we outlined. Now, why just choose one niche, you might be thinking. And if you're not, well, you probably should be thinking it. And there's several reasons of this. For one, you'll keep your costs lower by being able to, cross-purpose your blog network or your links. So, if you need a 10-site PBN, you're going to need like a 10, maybe 25-site PBN blog network, right? Well, you're going to be a lot better off and you're going to be a lot more profitable and keep your expenses down if you use that one PBN to rank 10 sites rather than creating 10 different PBNs to rank 10 different sites. This point is obvious. And the same thing when you're purchasing links from other people. You want to be able, maybe you can put 2 or 3 links to your sites and a guest post in somebody's blog. Well, you can really cut down on your expenses by being able to link to 2 or 3 different sites, in the same industry's blog, rather than having to go out and buy links on separate blogs in separate niches for every single one of your sites. It just makes better business sense. Furthermore, it helps to keep your content costs down because you can kind of have, one article created, original article, and then have your writers, typo there, and have your writers, manually spin the articles for different purposes for your blog network posts, etc., etc. And also, and this is a really underrated factor, but I think it's very, very important, is you'll develop specialized knowledge of how Google's algorithm behaves within that niche. I know if anybody, guys that have been in the SEO game long enough know that in different industries with different keywords, it's almost like a completely different algorithm sometimes. And that specialized knowledge can really, really help you, maybe not your first 5 sites, but when you go around making that batch of the next 5 sites, the next 10 sites, and you're going to know a little bit more about what to do, what not to do, and you're going to be able to be more profitable, point blank. So, how do you choose which strategy and which niche to pick? The answer is you pick the most profitable one. Now, to show you how to do this, we're about to hop over into Excel, and I'm going to show you my profitability tool. I need to think of a cool name for that. Super profits or something, I don't know, pirate profits maybe, whatever. So anyway, before we hop on to do that, just some quick guidelines or kind of assumptions before I show you how it works. First of all, these rent-a-cert pages where you try to rank a site and then get a client to rent the site and rent all the leads the site generates for you. In most industries, like in high-value industries, like for elective surgery, for instance, or real estate, you'll generally get and probably should ask for about 20% of the value of one conversion for your client per month. So if you have, say you're created a rent-a-cert page for a cosmetic surgeon, and he makes 10 grand for a surgery, whatever he does, then your asking price should be about $2,000 per month, right? Second is, this is the equation. I'll show you more in depth, and you're going to have the tool to do this yourself anyway. But how I calculate or project the income from affiliate sites, and the same is true for AdWords sites, is the income the revenue from those sites equals the combined monthly traffic from all the keywords you target. So maybe you're targeting 20, 30 keywords you're trying to rank for. I multiply that by about anywhere from 15 to 20% projected click-through rate. So let's say you get on page 1 for your 20 different terms or whatever. So we assume that you'll get anywhere from 15 to 25% of the traffic from all those terms. Times, I multiply that by a 2% conversion rate, which is how many people click on your ad or buy your product or whatever. This could be 1 to 3%. It depends. And then you multiply that by the value of the conversion. So that's like your commission for the affiliate sale. So I realize that's a brainful right now. I'm going to show you perfectly how this works in Excel here in a minute, but I just want to go ahead and get that concept to you, right? And one other thing that doesn't get really talked about, doesn't get talked about with income sites and AdWords sites, but is really, really important for, asset building online, is that, building an email list or harvesting emails from from all of your sites, anything you build, that increases the value of your property by 4 to 5% on the long term. So if you have, an affiliate site making $500 a month or $1,000 a month or whatever it might be, well, if you're collecting emails, every person that comes on there, you're getting 5%, say 5% of the emails of the visitors to your site, and you have a nice little 1,000+ email list after a year. When you go to sell that site at auction, you're literally going to be able to get 4 to 5 times the amount of the multiple that you would get from just the income from the site alone by having that email list. I cannot emphasize enough how important that is. So moving on. Oh yeah, and I forgot we have more assumptions. For calculating the expenses for the cost, we're going to assume here that local searches are going to cost you about 10 blog network links up front and then 5 links ongoing to rank. This is probably a little high for some niches, a little low for others. It depends. And we're also going to assume that for national searches, like just countrywide or worldwide, that those are going to cost you 25 links up front and then 10 to 15 per month ongoing to rank for. Again, sometimes this is high, sometimes it's low. It depends. It's kind of a useful average. Personally, I wouldn't recommend targeting the super difficult, super expensive keywords. I mean, there's just more profitable ones out there that aren't as competitive, so stick to that. And now we're going to talk about a little something called the bell curve, which it actually has nothing to do with bells, but I thought this was a nice looking photo. What the bell curve means is it's kind of, I guess you'd call it the law of averages. So what that means for us, let's say we go out here and we make 10 sites in a niche using the different strategies outlined. Okay, the reality is that 2 or 3 of those sites are going to be low performers, they're going to suck, and they aren't going to make us any money. 4 to 5 of those sites will be average, so maybe they make 40 to 60% of the income we projected them over the course of the year. And then 2 or 3 of the sites will be high performers, and they'll make more money than all the rest of the sites combined, and may even make more money than projected, and those will be where you really make your profit. That's why it's so important to build sites in batch and not just be relying on one site for income. Now you remember back this slide I showed you earlier, talking about the 3 kind of 3 guide stones, I guess you'd say, for entrepreneurial success. So since we know from the bell curve that not everything's going to work out exactly as we want it and exactly as we project it to, that's why it's so important to have plans in place, systems and processes in place to get these things done and get them built in mass without you having to do all the work. So when you have systems and you continue to build upon your systems, it becomes really easy to build 10 sites or 20 sites or 30 sites or whatever, and you diversify your risk and you increase your chances of success. And plus, when you understand this beforehand, when you understand the risk you're taking and the probability of success and failure, then you don't get discouraged when maybe the first site or first 2 or 3 sites don't perform like you expected. Well, you already know this mentally beforehand, so you don't get discouraged and you don't get worried and then abandon your plan and move on to something else. You understand it's a numbers game and you act accordingly and you persevere and you keep building and then you profit. Let's go ahead and jump over to my profitability tool that I still haven't thought of a good name for, and I'm going to show you guys how to do this point blank. Alright guys, here we are in the profitability tool. As you can see right here, we're on the Rent-A-Serp sheet now. And basically what this does is it lets you calculate a lot of really cool things that are going to help you. We start off with our kind of assumptions that we already talked about. Let me see if I can make this bigger so you guys can see it better. So we start off here with the first variable that we talked about. So the client value of a conversion. Now let's say we're working with with a back surgeon or somebody that's making, so let's say we're working right now with maybe a cash only back surgeon. He gets $5,000 for an elective spine surgery. And so that means your monthly revenue, remember that 20%, that conversion, that's paid to you from what he gets. So that's the client value conversion. That leads to your monthly revenue of $1,000 from him. And you can see right here, voila, that's how you formulate that number. Now we're going to say, setup cost, just to get the site off the ground. So that's paying for content, hosting, design, etc., etc. Let's say it cost you $200. It might be a little bit more, it might be a little bit less. It's just kind of a off the head estimate. It's not going to make or break you. And then we talked about, this is a local. We're going to say this is a local niche since you're going to be targeting your local city spine surgeon. So 10 links to get in the top 10. Or from there, we can calculate our. We calculate our monthly profit by projecting that by taking that monthly revenue, and then we subtract from the monthly revenue the amount of links we're going to need to hold the ranking, which is 10 links divided by 5. We're going to need 5 links a month. So say we're saying links are going to cost $35. Now maybe they'll be $35 to $50. If you already have your own blog network built, then they won't cost you that ongoing, but they will cost you a good amount up front to build that network out. So we can kind of roughly calculate our monthly profit. Now from there, okay, anybody, if you've built a site before, it's just not going to automatically rank in like 5 days or whatever, most of the time. So particularly if the niche is even halfway competitive or there's anybody else at all. So let's say it takes you 3 months to get on the first page to where you're going to start, attracting a client for your insert page. So then you're looking at this being your cost of initial ranking. That means how much you're going to have to spend setting up the site, and then how much you're going to have to spend on links approximately before the site will start making you a profit. So once you outlay that time and this money to build a profitable site that ranks, and then once you get that client in the books for $1,000 a month, we'll know, hey, it's going to take me 2.5 months or 2 and 1/4 or 2 and 1/3 months for the site to be profitable. That's great. All right, I know in SEO and internet marketing we all think we should be just instantly profitable tomorrow, but I promise, taking calculated risk like this and knowing that risk is going to pay off in 2.5 months, I mean, that's insanely profitable. And when you think about, we're building assets that want to rank, that we want to earn us income for a year, 2 years, 3 years. I mean, that's just, that's just money in the bank after that. From a 2 and 1/3 month wait period to have a nice little automatic money machine sending income into your bank after that. I mean, that's wonderful in real life business, not in fantasy world business. So, this side is a go. Now, our assumptions for affiliate and AdWords sites are a little bit different. Let me fix the... So we say right off the bat that the value of a conversion is $50. Maybe that means, and this could be all over the place, but maybe that means you're targeting like a real estate niche or something and selling Google and trying to get Google AdWords clicks. Well, maybe the value of a click is $30 to $50 to $80. They're all over the place. Or maybe it's an AdWords site, or maybe it's an affiliate site where you're selling the aforementioned Spanish language learning software and you get $50 for conversion, whatever. So we're going to assume for the affiliate type sites that your setup costs, you're going to need more content to rank, that you're going to need more links to rank. It's 20, and also going to assume that you're and also, like we talked about before, you're going to need to calculate your total monthly search volume. So let's say you're targeting 20 keywords that average 500 searches a month with your content. Well, you have a possibility of 10,000 visits a month, like maximum, right? So then you multiply that 10,000 a month by your percentage traffic from the first page 1 ranking. So that means if you're ranking for all 20 of those terms for a possible 10,000 visitors a month, then maybe you'll get 15% of those to visit your site. So that'll lead to 1,500 visitors. Well, from those 15% of your visitors, 2% of those will convert. They'll click your ad. They'll, buy your software or whatever. And that leads to your revenue. Multiply that by your conversion, and that leads to your monthly revenue. And when you subtract by your linking needs, you get a monthly profit of $800. So I already showed you how we calculate the initial ranking. Here, it takes a little bit longer to to get that ranking, because in a lot of these kind of countrywide searches, we're seeing a longer sandbox time of maybe 4 to 6 months. But we know, hey, $800 profit, $4,000 cost of initial ranking, you're still going to be profitable in 5 months. That's still a very good business. Oops, I just completely screwed up my PowerPoint here, or excuse me, my Excel sheet here. Now, the cool thing about this spreadsheet, and I forgot to just show you this, is you can adjust all these variables, right? So let's say that you're going to be ranking for something, a keyword that gets 5,000 searches a month, but has a conversion value of 80. Boom. You have a higher monthly revenue. Different time to profit and different monthly profit. So you can adjust all these to your needs. Let's say you have really powerful links and you only need 10 of them. Well, you can adjust, that's just right there. And everything adjusts based on the factors that are true to you and your business. Maybe you have like an already really established PBN and you have really cheap cost per link, so that's a competitive advantage you have. So maybe your cost per link is $10. Well, your monthly profit's going to be better, your monthly revenue is going to be, your cost of initial ranking is going to be better, your time to profit, everything improves. So this is all these variables are adjustable for you and your real life situation and what you know about your niche and your SEO abilities, so that you can actually project how profitable everything's going to be. So let me just go ahead and change these back to some of the real life stuff. So, and of course, the same thing, I set the spreadsheet up for you. The same thing for your rent-a-cert niche. Let's say your client, you have a really high-end client who gets 25 grand for a conversion. Well, right away, you have a really good chance of charging 5 grand a month, and maybe what you end up negotiating is less, but nonetheless, the point being, this is a great tool, so you know what to expect beforehand, so you're not just throwing stuff against the wall. And you can see what we then do is we combine all these into a project file. So we're making 10 sites here, 10 sites in the same niche. So we take those calculations from the other sheets. So we then take the calculations we made from our those other sheets, and we can use those to project our profit from the rent-a-cert, to project our affiliate AdWords profit, not just in total, but you can see the averages as well. So this is kind of so then what we do, we combine all these, and this is kind of the pie in the sky projected monthly profit of 17 grand. Well, I can tell you, if you make just 10 sites in your first go at it, you're probably definitely 99% chance not going to be making 17 grand a month from those right off the bat. So we want to go ahead and adjust for that bell curve, so for the real life probability we talked about. So like I said before, 2 or 3 of your sites, roughly 25% of your sites will be huge successes. Half of your sites will be average, perform average, and another 25% of your sites will be poor performers. So let's say, those 2 or 3 sites, you get 110% of your projected revenue. And again, this is adjustable. For half your sites, you get 50% of your adjusted revenue. 50% of your projected revenue, and poor, anywhere from 0 to 20%. Well, that shows you how much you're going to be making from each category of sites. And from there, you can use that to project what your, real life probability adjusted monthly profit would be if you undertake this project to make 10 sites. So we can change, just like before, we can change all these variables to control what our real life project is going to be. Maybe we only make 5 sites. Well, it could be worth 5 grand a month for us, more or less. Or maybe you think your piss poor ones don't make you any money. Well, we adjust that. So everything is adjustable for you, so that you can not only make initial projections, but you start going out there and building things that you can then do your math, adjust your calculations on the fly based on what the feedback you're seeing from the market, what kind of performance you're getting in real life. Now, I realize that maybe this seems a little bit complicated, to start with. So, you know, go ahead and download this spreadsheet and, you know, play around with everything. Everything is linked up. So you can see, like right here, everything is linked up to other factors, and all the factors are adjustable. So you're going to have to take some time yourself and explore it and see how to use all this. But I promise this is a great tool that, you know, you can put this to work and really help you build a legitimate SEO and marketing business. Not only that, just helps you, you know, make a good decision beforehand about what to do, what not to do, so you're not doing that, you know, not being one of those monkey shit fight SEOs we talked about, right? Now I just want to go ahead and give you a sneak peek of what's coming your way in part 2 of Big Business SEO. I'm going to be giving you a crash course on Godzilla style scaling your SEO business. We're going to talk about the 4 horses of the Serpocalypse. Yes, that's real. Then we're going to talk about how and when to cut your cost rather than focus on building, you know, new profit streams. Then you're going to learn how to find your competitive advantage in the SEO business. And then I want to give you a sneak preview of the tool that has really given me a competitive advantage to my SEO business that I'm going to be releasing soon to the public, called SEO Autoflow. So that is it for today. Y'all come back now, and look forward to seeing you for part 2. All right, cheers, guys. Peace. You know, these damn buildings actually block the sunrise from coming to my rooms in the morning. They should do something about that.